In today's news, a bizarre but admittedly very inventive new so-called scam involving air conditioners. Nok Air tries to explain its poorly executed evacuation plan, and Thais jailed in Malaysia simply for having traces of the Happy plant in their system. All this is coming up in today's program.
Today's show is brought to you by Thaiger Property for all your real estate needs in Thailand. Link in the description below.
You're watching Thailand News Today, bringing you the latest top stories in Thailand and beyond. My name is Jet Gunther, and in our first story, a Thai woman said she was scammed into buying 2 second-hand air conditioners that demanded she pay an extra 900 baht a month top-up to keep them running. The woman posted her story on Facebook saying she had paid 5,000 baht for each machine and an extra 3,000 baht for installation. They then stopped working 1 week after the installation, and the technician could not understand why. She contacted the Thaiger aircon company customer service hotline and found that users of the air conditioning units needed a monthly top-up via a QR code at 900 baht each month to use them. If not, the system would automatically be cut off. The woman informed social media that in the end she decided to remove the 2 aircon units, even though it was going to leave her 8,000 baht out of pocket, and filed a complaint at a police station. She said she wanted to warn others to beware of this kind of scam. A Facebook page, ireview.in.th, that shares information and reviews about electronic appliances, explained that the top-up aircon units use an Internet of Things system to control the aircon system remotely. If users fail to top up, the system is cut off by the company that controls it. Nok Air have made a public statement apologizing to passengers who sat on a Boeing 737-800 for over an hour after it skidded off Chiang Rai International Airport's runway on Saturday evening. Several passengers have expressed dissatisfaction with the evacuation procedure. The airline said the reason it took so long to get the 164 passengers out of the aircraft was because the airline, quote, followed the highest safety procedures. Heavy rain and water-logged ground outside the aircraft made it harder to navigate the evacuation too, said Nok Air. But what passengers were primarily upset about was not the lengthy safety precautions, but the fact that the captain turned off the engines, which in turn turned off all the lights and air conditioning in the cabin. After an hour without air conditioning, maybe because they forgot to top up the monthly aircon plan, passengers began to complain they were struggling to breathe, which is when the cabin crew opened the doors and allowed passengers to slide down from the emergency exits. One passenger said that only 2 vehicles came to pick up the passengers from the aircraft and suspects that lack of available vehicles at the airport could be a reason for the delay. However, Nok Air did not cite this as a reason in their statement. The airport announced the suspension of all flights in and out of the airport on Sunday morning. Yesterday, Director of Mae Fa Luang Chiang Rai Airport said that removing the aircraft was a 3-day job because the plane's wheels were stuck in the mud and a crane would need to be used to lift the Boeing out from the ground. Flights in and out of Chiang Rai Airport are expected to resume tomorrow, August 3rd at 10 p.m. The disruption to travel has been significant, especially since the incident occurred during Thailand's 4-day weekend. Usually 36 flights per day take off from Chiang Rai Airport, facilitating daily average of 4,500 to 5,000 passengers. Continuing with the theme of you could not make this stuff up, after 13 years of delayed construction, the new Phai Chai tunnel in Bangkok officially opened yesterday, only to close due to a flood. Bangkok Governor Chachat Siriphant last month visited the unfinished Phai Chai tunnel to talk with the director of the Public Work Department, Thaiwut Kankeo, about the project's delay. Chachat made a few barbed comments to Thaiwut about the project's perpetual holdup, which first began in 2009. Chachat said, quote, "Director, you should be careful with every detail. No more chances to close the tunnel to fix the construction again. The road seems a little bit bumpy, but it will be okay as it should be paved with asphalt again, right? Thai would explain that the MRT Blue Line and pavement improvement were reasons for the long delay, but promised Chachat that the tunnel would be finished and open by August the 1st. And Thai would made good on that promise as the Phai Chai tunnel officially opened yesterday at 5 a.m. However, the tunnel was only open for about 8 hours before it was closed again because of flooding. The Bangkok Public Relations Facebook page reported there was water waiting to drain at the entrance and at the end of the tunnel, and some objects were obstructing the drainage. The officials would solve the problem as soon as possible. The tunnel is expected to reopen at about 4 p.m. The page updated again that the tunnel was reopened at 4:30 p.m. Bangkok Public Relations stated that the Phai Chai tunnel construction was completed, but added that there were a few minor snags to fix, like the water drainage system, yeah, very minor, and that the Public Work Department was still working on it. The tunnel opens every day from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m., but will close between 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. as the Public Works Department continues working on minor details. Thailand expects 1,000 doses of the smallpox vaccine to arrive in the kingdom from the U.S. by the end of the month. But the Ministry of Public Health said the vaccines would be made available only to the most vulnerable groups of people in Thailand. The Director General of the Disease Control Department, Opat Gawinpong, yesterday said that monkeypox vaccines have not been developed anywhere for years, but the U.S. has a supply of the serum that was developed by the U.S. FDA in 2019 and approved by the World Health Organization. Opat reported that the government pharmaceutical organization expects 1,000 doses of the medicine by the end of August. The director said the vaccines would be made available to people who had poor immunity, health conditions, or medical staff taking care of monkeypox patients. Each person would get 2 doses of the vaccine. Thai media reported that the Department of Medical Sciences is to conduct tests on volunteers to measure levels of immunity and resistance against the monkeypox strain. Opat moved to reassure the public over the spread of the monkeypox virus, saying that people should not be worried because monkeypox does not spread easily and it will not cause severe symptoms. People should not rush out and get a vaccine because most people will not need it. We only need to use the vaccines when it is needed for the vulnerable or those that have been infected. 3 Thais traveling to Malaysia for the long weekend were imprisoned for 3 days and fined the equivalent of 50,000 baht after they tested positive for the happy plant substance. The tourists crossed over the border into Malaysia in Satun province and were asked to provide a urine sample on arriving in Wiang Kelian in Malaysia. When traces of the plant were found in their urine, the tourists were immediately detained. The plant was removed from Thailand's list of illicit narcotics on June the 9th, but it is still very much illegal in Malaysia. Even explicitly saying the name of the plant also gets our channel flagged by YouTube, hence the weird euphemisms. The Malaysian government also forbade Malaysians from consuming food or drinks which contain the plant while traveling in Thailand because it could stay in their systems and they could be tested for the drug upon returning to Malaysia. According to local sources, the Malaysian border force is meticulously checking bags, passports, and cars for traces of the plant. I don't know why they'd be checking passports for the plant, but okay. Ensuring that arrivals in Malaysia are not smuggling an illicit drug into the country is one thing, but the requirement that anyone entering Malaysia cannot have traces of the plant in their system at all is sure to cause a big problem between bordering countries. And that's all for our report from Thailand News Today. The show will be back tomorrow. Meanwhile, you're now up to date on the Thaiger.